Today I fucked up by mocking my neighbor's parrot for the last couple of weeks. So, I live in an apartment where the walls are thin enough that I can hear my neighbor's TV, phone calls, and unfortunately their parrot. This parrot, very beautiful animal, but makes me want to rip my hair out and do things I am not proud to admit. Let's just say, he has become my morning alarm for the last few months. About 2 weeks ago, I started mocking his sounds back. He'd squawk, I'd squawk. He'd whistle, I'd whistle back. We built up a little routine, kind of like distant, angry roommates communicating through bird calls. Sometimes I would even initiate it, like when I was cooking, I would randomly have a Tourette-like outburst and start squawking loudly. I know this is strange, lol. Yesterday, my neighbor knocked on my door and had a really odd look on her face. Apparently, ever since I started doing my bird banter, her parrot has become obsessed with me. I guess I just wasn't in the mood for bird talk the last couple days and went silent. She said he paces and screeches when I stop responding. She even showed me a video. Was such an awkward experience. She said he used to have a parrot friend years ago that died, and she thinks it wants some sort of bird companion. Anyway, she asked me to make a couple bird sounds as she put a treat in its cage to see if it would eat. I reluctantly agreed and felt humiliated, of course, but I went through with it, and sure enough, the little fucker started eating and playing. Long story short, I became the object of a parrot's affection, and my neighbor asked if I could talk to him for a few minutes a day. Even gave preferred times if I'm home. I've unintentionally entered a long-distance relationship with a bird. Too long did not read. Mocked my neighbor's parrot, accidentally became his soulmate. /JM. Bruh, this is like a buddy movie where you forced yourself to be your enemy's best friend. I feel sorry for you, but also good for you. Kinda sucks when you want to be a dick, but make friends instead. This is one of the weirdest wholesome stories I've ever read. Sounds like your neighbor needs to get the parrot a friend. Humiliated? You have the power to whistle joy into what is basically a feathered toddler. You are a good egg. Keep on flapping. Congrats on your new BBFF, bird best friend forever. This is so wholesome. Why are you upset? You've made inroads into a new friendship. I would embrace it. What's its name? I would be yelling through the walls while I make my morning coffee. Good morning ______. Whistle squawk. That through the walls is better than any loud neighbor I've ever had. Today I fucked up by not realizing the crystal's on, but plugs are removable. Obligatory, not today, lol. It was quite a while ago. So a while ago, I decided I was going to experiment with some butt stuff. I didn't know if I was into it or not, but I figured why not try it and find out. I did some research and found out that it's best to start with the silicone plugs rather than metal and to use plenty of lube and go slow. Seems legit. I ordered a beginner's set from Amazon with 3 different sizes. They were black silicone with those fake crystals on the end of the flared base, which is fairly common as far as I could tell. I washed them and then waited till I got in the mood one day. So I'm feeling pretty aroused and pull these plugs out of my drawer. Nice. Let's do this. I used some lube and slowly worked the small one into the OL Starfish Hall of Fame. It went in nicely and wasn't uncomfortable at all. So then I move on to my vibrator, which goes into my baby chute. I'm laying in bed getting my freak on solo. I'm doing fine. Alright, now that the parlor and the back office are occupied, let's get into business here. I start moving the vibrator back and forth, like one does, and I'm feeling pretty good, like one does. But oh shit, things are about to take a turn for the worse. As I push the vibrator back in, I feel something very uncomfortable around back. Apparently the crystals on the end of those plugs are removable. So the crystal popped out, and the whole plug just went /SHLOP/ right up the bunghole. I'd say fuck me, but that's what got me into this mess in the first place. I removed the vibrator and frantically shoved my fingers up into the butt version of a bat cave, shat cave. I had to push and feel around, not an easy feat, considering the level of panic I was experiencing. I thought for a horrifying moment that I might have to go to the ER to get it dug out of there. But eventually I managed to reach the end of the plug, but just barely. And it hurt like a bitch trying to pull that tang out. Pretty sure I scraped the butt walls with my fingernails in the panic. But I got it out. Thank you, Lord. I stared at that mother buttfucker, and then got up and threw it away. No thanks, I don't think I'm into butt stuff. Nope. No sir. And at that point, I was so unhorny that I just cleaned everything up. Scraping my fingernails on the walls of my butthole while chasing a runaway, but plug didn't really put me in the mood. Shocking, I know. So there you have it. My embarrassing story of my intro to butt stuff. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. TL. Doctor, I didn't realize that the crystals pop off the plugs, so it popped off and the plug got sucked up my butthole. Edit. Fuck y'all accusing this of being AI. I don't need AI to live my life for me. In fact, I went and dug through my old stuff and found one of the plugs I never used. I recorded a short video as proof. That's a terrible design, to be honest. Don't use plugs with the round flared base. Use plugs with a T-shaped base. It's much more difficult to have those sucked up into the anus on accident. Our nurse here. While we treasure any opportunity to retrieve items from orifices, it's likely that any item inserted into the anus will emerge from the anus in advance of the next bowel movement, surfing the brown wave to freedom. Eats lots of fiber, and chew each mouthful thoroughly. Literally the worst post that could have followed this on my feed. What's the point of a flared base if the flare is easily removable? Maybe you hadn't screwed it in tightly, depending on the design? Glad you're okay though. TIFU.